When you do a story like this, you always have to figure out whether you try to be slick and you tease people on to get them to watch the video to make it real interesting with lots of twists and turns, and they never know where it's going to end. Or do you just tell them up front what's happening, what's about to happen? I think I'll take the simple route. Spoiler alert. Here's another story about police abuse, about police cursing, using their guns, threatening black people for no reason whatsoever. And it all turned out to be a hoax, a lie, every single word of it, including if, and but. So Monday night, 75 people gathered in front of police headquarters because they were having a protest about cops pointing guns at babies and a car. Oh, I'm sorry, a toddler and a baby. Happened the day before. The people took dolls out. They put them in the street. They put all sorts of messages on social media. Here's one. Tonight, police pulled guns while my 2-year-old nephew and 5-month-old niece were in the car. The 2-year-old reached for his mother, my niece. The police yelled at him, told him to get back, and told him not to move. The guns were pulled out the entire time. My family was harassed and followed modern-day terrorism. One of the passengers looked at the police. Soon they were pulled over. They were getting out of church. When we met soon after, the young adults were afraid to drive home, terrified. Tonight, it hit my family. Tonight, I will speak out. Tonight, Lord, tonight, I will not rest. I will keep going. Tonight. Here's another. I think that's a tweet. Here's another tweet. This comes from a person named White Folk Work. So the White Folks Work, that is the work of curing racism, paying reparations. That's what that is, White Folk Work. White Folk Work. Let me see. What do we know about this police officer, Stephen in Garrison? Dangerous tonight. Direct message me any information. Here's a guy named Coach Baruch. Might be the same guy we just heard from. The cops pointed guns at my 2-year-old nephew and 4-month-old niece tonight because someone in the car looked at a cop while driving by them. Here's another message. His name is Ethan. He is 2 years old, and last night he was terrorized at gunpoint. He was coming home from church with his family when the car he was riding in was pulled over after a passenger made eye contact with an officer. There was no perceived violation, no ticket, not even a warning. The police approached the baby-filled car, filled with their guns drawn, and pointed. What commenced was an irrational volley of questions which served only to heighten the passenger's fear. Terrified, the toddler cried. The officer yelled at the child, "Sit down!" The implicit or else silently enforced with the pointed gun. When the police are allowed to pull over cars for no apparent reason, save harassment, and hold the occupants, babies, at gunpoint, we have met the enemy. Baby doll protest. Let me finish that last comment. We can't undo the terror, but we can resist, and we will. We can't undo the nightmare of a gun held to the head of a toddler, but we will not allow the terror to be silenced. His name is Ethan. Baby doll protest. Bring your dolls. Tonight, Monday night, at the St. Louis Metropolitan Police District headquarters. Black babies matter. And lots of that from other people as well. It was all a hoax. All a hoax. I'll put a link to the video. It's like a 5-minute encounter. None of this happened. None of it happened.
That's probably why it's not showing up.
No guns, no yelling, no screaming, no threats, no intimidation, no terrorizing. Just a couple cops pulling somebody over. Man, how many hoaxes, flat out lies have we seen over the last couple of weeks? Of course, there's a story in Albany. 3 black women said they were assaulted. Said 20 white people who also threw racial slurs at them. That was a lie. What about the professor from New Jersey? What about the Texas state legislator? What about the professor in Texas? This is a long list. Now we add this to it. Maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were just confused with another story where cops did approach a black person in a car, where cops did pull their guns, where there was a baby in the back seat, where cops pulled their guns, where cops yelled at the guy. Let's look at that story.
High-powered assault rifle discovered within arm's reach of a toddler during a traffic stop.
And things quickly escalated after the driver allegedly pulled a handgun on officers.
News 4's Corey Stark uncovering new details tonight about this case. And Corey, you talked exclusively with Chief Dotson. He says his officers used unbelievable restraint.
Sharon, that's what Chief Dotson is telling me tonight. He says the 2 officers involved in this incident were able to talk the suspect into dropping the weapon, but that was just the start of this intense struggle with the suspect, and a toddler witnessed it all.
The car makes some erratic turns, does a U-turn, pulls into a parking lot, does some things, so the officers stop it.
A traffic stop earlier this week in the Hamilton Heights neighborhood turning dangerous in an instant.
The driver has a loaded .45 in his hand. As the officers come at it from 2 different sides, points the gun at one of the officers.
Chief Sam Dotson says the officers pulled their guns on 21-year-old Gregory Mills.
The officers were giving clear command, put the gun down, drop the gun.
While face-to-face with this gun, officers made an alarming discovery in the back seat.
In the back seat of the car is a toddler, an infant that's supposed to be in a child seat but not properly buckled into the child seat. Sitting next to the infant, a loaded AR-15.
Officers got Mills to put down the gun, but he reportedly continued to kick and struggle with the officers. Tasers were used to get Mills in cuffs, and all guns were seized. By police protocol, lethal force could have been used. I asked Chief Dotson why it wasn't, given the intensity of the situation.
Certainly that infant being in that changed the dynamic there. They were able to de-escalate the situation, even after resisting and use of a taser, take the subject into custody, get that infant out of that dangerous situation.
You know, the flat-out hoax is kind of an extreme example of the greatest lie of our generation, the biggest hoax of our generation. The myth, black victimization. How black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything, especially why cops are always picking on black people for no reason whatsoever. That's why we're doing these videos, to expose that lie. That's why I wrote Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. That's why I want you to share this video, like it, post it on your Facebook page. Read Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. Give that to somebody. There's a ton of stuff in there on St. Louis. St. Louis is too easy. There's too much stuff going on in St. Louis. But this is such a great example of the hoax of black victimization. Again, I thought I would include it in there. But really, how much difference is there between those people lying about what happened during that police encounter and Hillary Clinton standing up and saying that black people are relentless victims of white racism. Bernie Sanders saying we have to stop over-policing black neighborhoods because we're picking on them for no reason whatsoever. There's really not that much difference. They're both intentionally trying to deceive us by people who know the truth but pretend they do not. Public officials, reporters, activists all over the country. It's putting a lot of good people in danger, creating a lot of resentment, hostility, hatred. That's what we're fighting here. Proud to be in it with you. This is Colin Flaherty reminding you, don't make the black kids angry.